Hello, everybody. This is another episode of Simply Dorales. I am Dorales, your host. We'll be talking about mental health versus mental illness. What's the difference? Is there any difference? How do you think society should approach the topic of mental health? I do have my wonderful co-host here, my guest host. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. Here you go.
What's going on, y'all? It's KC on the mic.
How y'all doing, man? It's Vontae.
What's good? It's CJ.
Hi to everyone that KC is live with on Okay. So first of all, let's start with the definition. Now, mind y'all, we will be smoking hookah. We will be eating watermelon. So sorry for the sounds, but if you have your kids in a room, get them out because this is not a kids show. There will be explicit language.
Some people smack harder than others.
I sure do.
Big Manda, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Okay. So definition of mental illness. Mental illness refers collectively to all diagnosed mental disorders, health conditions, involuntary significant changes in thinking, emotion, and or behavior. Now, the definition for mental health is a person's condition with regards to their psychological and emotional well-being. How do we define mental health? Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. The difference between mental health and mental illness: mental health is always there. It may be positive or negative, while mental illness affects a person's ability to function over a long period of time. Mental illness is not the same as feeling sad, unhappy, or stressed. Because of different situations, people with mental illness may feel distressed regularly and may not feel in control of their lives. Mental illness can impact how we see ourselves, how we see the world, and how we interact with the world. It's important to know that it's possible to have good mental health even if you do have a mental illness. Just like with any other conditions, many people with mental illness experience tough times, but they also have periods of better or good mental health. Taking care of your mental health is very important. Types of mental illness, there are several of them. There isn't limited to just 1, 2, or 3. Mental illness often involves changes in behavior, mood, or thinking. Symptoms vary, as do people, circumstances, situations. Generally speaking, a person will experience significant distress or an inability to function over an extended time. It is important to know anyone can develop a mental illness. Some risk factors that increase this chance of a mental illness are a family history with mental illness, unresolved traumatic or abusive childhood experiences, stressful life events such as loved one's death, financial problems or divorce, environmental influences on a fetus such as exposure to drugs or alcohol, social factors such as discrimination, poverty, or barriers of opportunity. I'm going to pause it right here. We do have a couple other things to go over, but I'm going to give my co-host a chance to chime in if they see the difference between mental health and mental illness. Anybody? No, not yet? Okay. So what are 8 signs of mental health problems? 1 is feeling anxious or worried. And I'm not talking about just like your normal day-to-day worried. And everyone gets worried. Everyone gets anxious. But the difference is being able to cope with it, or how often it's happening, or if you have control over it or not. Feeling depressed or unhappy, emotional outbursts, sleeping problems, weight or appetite changes, quiet or withdrawn, substance abuse, feeling guilty or worthless. 3 facts about mental health. 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health condition in a given year. 1 in 6 young people have experienced a major depressive episode. And 1 in 20 Americans have lived with a serious mental illness such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or major depression, oftentimes without it being diagnosed or being misdiagnosed, which can lead to a whole host of problems. So, what does mentally healthy look like? Mentally healthy means you're emotionally stable. You're feeling calm and able to manage emotions, resilience, the ability to cope with the stress of daily life, optimism, feeling positive about your life and future, self-esteem, feeling positive about yourself. So the first rule of mental health, good mental health, is to learn to distinguish between those who deserve an explanation and those who deserve nothing at all. I will open the floor for open discussion now. What do you guys think about that last statement for the first rule of good mental health? Do I need to repeat it? Okay, so the first rule of good mental health is to learn to distinguish who deserves an explanation and who deserves nothing at all.
Well, I don't have too much to say on this particular topic, but at the same time, if we want to go biblical, it talks about answer a fool according to his folly. And then it also says almost, in the same paragraph, don't answer a fool according to his folly. Some people, when they come at you the right or wrong type of way, some people deserve an answer, some people don't. Because you might give one person an answer that might open up insight for them and actually change their life. Another person is just going to be talking out the side of their neck, and no matter what you say, it doesn't matter. So you have to distinguish the difference between the two.
Anyone else? Monte?
Well, to me, I think as far as mental illness goes, I believe that it's some of it is hereditary through generations. A lot of people, they go through cycles and don't understand why they feel the way they do, not knowing that with a person's family tree that some people have. I realize mental illness can be passed down from generation to generation. So a lot of people, they go through like you say, abusive cycles and can't understand why they're making the same mistakes. And a lot of times they have to find therapy or have to ask somebody why they're going through what they go through. Or people may feel like it's their fault why things ain't going right, not realizing that they feel the way they do because of what's been passed down in their family. So they don't know it. They don't really know any other way out, and so they try to reach out to anybody that can help the best way they can. That's what I believe.
So I guess a question could be like, do you guys think if not possibly not all, but a lot of mental illness or mental health problems could stem from childhood trauma?
I believe most of them would.
Yeah, I believe that.
I think it's very important to acknowledge when you do have an issue and try to seek help, because we have so many people today, like you see a homeless person on the street that have mental health problems or maybe suffering from a mental illness, and at times is not at fault to themselves. And sometimes people don't know the resources to go about fixing it. And I know growing up in a black household, it was a rule of black people don't do therapy. So So I feel like for my situation, it would have helped significantly if we would have probably had therapy when we were still young and experiencing the trauma to get coping skills to deal with the trauma not only in our home but just in our neighborhood, growing up living in the hood and seeing that much poverty and that much drug abuse around you. You go outside, you have to watch where you're walking because you might get a needle in your foot and you might get AIDS because you don't know where that needle's been. And it's sad that we live in a society today where that is relevant, but a lot of people do use drugs to cope with mental illness. And mental illness does not have to mean the big ones like schizophrenia and everything. It could be something as simple as depression. And I'm not saying depression is simple, but I'm saying like it could be something along those lines. How do y'all feel about, I'm being asked, how do y'all feel about being medicated to help with mental illness?
First of all, hi, Kissable. Thank you for joining us again. Me personally, I don't really believe in medication for everything because medication, when you take it, it might actually help with one thing, but majority of these medicines have side effects. They have other problems that come along just due to taking these types of medicines that's actually supposed to change this and change that. And I'm not down in medicine. I'm not saying that we don't need medicine, but at the same time, there's certain natural things that you can do, that you could take. Sometimes it could be as simple as actually literally changing your diet, because the nutrients that you take into your body actually has a effect on your brain development and everything like that could actually lead towards mental health, mental illness, not having mental illness, along with the things that you actually experience in your life.
Anyone else? Vontae, you have something to say about medication? Okay. I felt that way too. I was like, damn, he just answered everything.
Looking at questions right now. If you guys have any questions or if you want to chime in, feel free.
So someone is saying that they think society should approach. They posted anonymously.
Okay.
They think society should approach mental health with seriousness and stop leaving all these people out here with these mental health and mental illness issues just to benefit their pockets, because they said that it can bring the crime rate down, and it would actually improve if we helped people within our community. That's actually, I agree with that.
I agree with that 100%, as well as parents. A lot of parents want to be that hip parent, that cool parent, that, you know, the children's friends and everything like that. I believe that there needs to be a balance. You want your child to be able to come and talk to you, but at the same time, it starts with the children, because children start in this learning stage where they're trying to absorb everything, and then what's going to happen 10, 15 years later, they're going to turn into adults. And what it's seeming like in this day is like there's more mental illness than what there used to be. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why I'm talking to parents right now when I say let's try to slow this down. You know what I'm saying? Let's not think about just today and tomorrow, but let's think about what our future will bring when you know you're going through things. Don't get it twisted as far as what you think your kids do and do not understand and what they do and do not see. Mm-hmm. Because when it's all said and done, you can be teaching them something that you don't even know that you're teaching them, but you're teaching them by the example that you're showing in the moves that you're actually making as you being an adult.
I agree. Lisa says, "Hi."